Welcome to building the vessel. When you build this vessel of life that you are living life through, your consciousness is living life through your body, the human body. What's connected to the human body? Your mind. What chemical attachments come with that? Well, your emotional state, your feelings, all the things that cook up and become sometimes a shitstorm inside of your life that pulls you away from the possibilities of improvement. Physical health is the only foundation from which everything else can lift up on. It doesn't mean you can't have other foundations, of course, mental health, emotional health, all that sort of stuff. But when you purely tap into your primal power, that affects everything, man. That affects your mental state, your emotional state. Looking at the 4 happy hormones, when we're looking at oxytocin, if you're training with your friend, family, connecting with your family because you have the awareness, the perceptions inside of the day without being fatigued, lethargic, run down, sedation, distraction, drugs, alcohol, television, all that sort of shit, you can connect better with your family, serotonin being more stabilized. That's a mood stabilizer. When we're looking at that, that comes off the back of you having your shit together with your training regime, with your health and nutrition. Looking at endorphins, stress release, like that stress hormone, that's awesome. We love that feeling off the back of training and exercise. That stabilizes and builds not only stability, but balances out your chemical hormones when we're looking at that. And dopamine, obviously, the hormone, these are your 4 happy hormones, your hormones of achievement, dopamine, fulfillment, not fulfillment on scrolling through phones and finding something that validates the time you've just fucking wasted. Actual dopamine off the back of connecting to life, your family, loved ones, being stable and exercising your body. These chemicals are real. You are your own alchemist, mate. It's time to start believing this and enacting that inside of our pathway here. Building the vessel. The overview is exactly that. Physical, mental, and emotional. We want to build a massive gas tank to be able to perform. That means you're less triggered, you're less grumpy, you connect with your wife and with your children better because you have the endurance and the stability inside of your health, inside of yourself, physically, mentally, and emotionally, to stay solid, to be strong, to be steady inside of who you are instead of being triggered and letting other people control you. And we're going to talk about that in a second as well. The reason why people have outrage inside of their life, you get cut off. Someone cuts you off on the road, or it could be your wife, could be your children, could be a worker or colleague, your business, could be yourself. Why you get so triggered and why you default, and everyone defaults to this because it gives you immediate control. Hard part is though, feelings like we spoke about in day one, they can be fleeting. They will fuck you up. So without the facts and without solidifying your strength physically and mentally, you're always going to go for the kill. And the problem is when most people go for the kill, it's an emotionally driven, volatile state, which leads to everything burning down to the ground. And it's not an absolute. It's not the real truth of the situation. It's just how we as men immediately get control back. Think about that. Think about that with your wife. Think about that with your children. Anytime there's a feeling or perception that there is no control outside of yourself, that's why your physical health is important too. You immediately go for, as human beings, to validate and justify our stories and the bullshit sometimes in those stories. We immediately go for the kill and latch onto what gives us immediate significance and control and power again. That's your emotions. That's why rage is a pleasure. This is the hard part though. When it's unstable, anger becomes rage. Love becomes possession. Grief becomes depression. A genuine inspiration can quickly become envy or jealousy. Be very cautious of that, man. Don't let your feelings lead you. You need all 3 areas when we're building the gas tank to be able to perform in life. So cracking on into this, we're going to set the stage and the action plan. Setting the stage is understanding exactly what we said just then. There are 3 elements when it comes to building a massive gas tank to be able to perform. That is your physical, mental, and emotional energy. Physical energy, what does this look like? Your exercise regime, getting that squared away. We've got our own HPF training app that we use. So that's awesome. We track the data. We can see there. You can see your PBs, results, the rewards from that. Your sleep and recovery, which essentially is going to be covered in day 3 with your morning and night routines. That's critical, mate. Like when you have 1,000 minutes a day, we're going to cover this on Mastering Time. When you have 1,000 minutes a day, though, what shit are you dragging through from one day into the next that is chopping down, say, 300 minutes because of your performance from the day before? And this is fucking you up so that you have less time. You have less effectiveness, less efficiency in the day that follows. This is why morning and night routines. You want to get control? Awesome. So do I. That's what every human being wants. Control can become certainty, can become freedom. So let's get that. But let's get that the right way. Your nutrition. What are you doing to fuel your body? Spoke about the happy hormones. You can't just tap into it like an alchemist and just add a little bit of this, little bit of that, and think everything will be okay by cheating the system with your nighttime, your sleep, your night and morning routines, your sleep and recovery, and then also your nutrition. Doesn't mean you need to be a saint. I don't eat like a saint, but I optimize the nutrients my body needs. You can have access to these resources as well. We'll go through that on the action plan. Physical health, man. Exercise isn't being a world beater. And if you're already currently fit and in great shape, awesome, good for you. But how are you leveraging that? Why are you still here then? Because obviously we know that there's more to life than what the physical body looks like and can do. It's about leverage. These are tools. How are you taking this? What context are you taking this? Are you training and setting up your training regime and you're a fucking powerhouse in the gym, but you're doing it in a detrimental way that's destroying a family? We're going to cover this on the pattern of performance when it comes to routines and rituals, like systems, the very first one. What is the order of things? You can have the best intentions, man, but if you do it in the wrong order, that will fuck you up and your family. But it's not just physical, is it? It's mental and emotional as well. So let's tap on into this and really keep using as tools, as leverage, the different pieces that make up a massive energy protocol for you. This is your thoughts, your focus, your application. You're going to be using the tools and resources that we're giving you, not just yesterday, but today and following in the days to come. They're going to help you learn and grow. You are learning and growing the mind. This is what the mental state is about. Focus, which applies to our yes-no principle, which we're going to go through as well. Your thoughts. This is your mentality, your state of mind, because all of your thoughts off the back of your actions are going to create a yay or nay with your training, with your commitment, with your follow through, hitting the snooze button. Your mind can screw you up. You know that. Those little thoughts, the little voice inside, that's not you. That's not you inside. You can zoom out and observe that. That's who you are. So you must maintain control and integrity with this by what you focus on, applying this to your life with the HPF tools that we have and resources. So you can support the yes-no principle. I'm saying yes to this, these thoughts, this empowerment, these actions, these processes methodically. It's not the emotion. It's not the physical performance. This is the order of things, how I'm going to do it. This is going to develop your neural pathways. And when this develops your neural patterns, your subconscious, which runs 91% of your life, you start to say yes to the right things, which means this enhances the follow through. The 50-50s become 90-10s because you don't talk yourself out of it. That's very powerful. And then that uplifts your emotional state. I can do it. I did follow through. I am the man. I am powerful. You start to build that level of self-value, worth, love, respect, whatever word you want to use. When you tap into your emotional state, you can then ask quality questions of yourself. Why am I feeling this way? This highlights the needs. What needs are not being met? Like I spoke about when it comes to control. You want immediate control, you go for the kill. Don't kill the goose for the golden eggs, man, because sometimes that is not the absolute truth, which unfortunately hurts and drives a wedge between yourself and those you love and care about because of your triggers. You get the opportunity to get back in the driver's seat if you have more control and awareness over your emotions. You have a better chemical release. What you're developing in your subconscious, again, comes to the forefront. You're actively controlling your life and even the alchemy inside through your emotional states, your mental state, and your physical performance. And it all gets enhanced by this, creating space. But on a wrap on that with the emotional stuff, please understand, mate, when you can recognize and have that awareness, you are building a bit of space between action. There's no reaction. There's a response, which means you can respond or recreate the situation, the circumstance, the environment, so you don't become the triggered one, the one that blows his stack and loses his cool and the family walks on eggshells, or the other way around. You have that awareness when that's happening to you. You don't become a fucking punching bag. You can stand up and not only share your feelings, but get clear on the facts and the mental acuity and state of mind and the physical endurance when it happens at 8 o'clock at night because you've worked all day and you're exhausted, but now you're not because you have that physical performance and endurance. You've got the 3-piece set, which means you can handle the shitstorms that life will throw at you. This isn't just about you being a problem or the problem at all. That's not how we work. We don't judge fathers. We're not here for that. And this is recognizing, you know what, there are things we can take ownership and control over, but you know what, there are people we love and care about who fuck up as well. They've got a list too. So how do we be a leader that stays on the level or one level above the chaos so we can support and nurture them through their hardships, their troubles, the battles that they go through? This is how. Creating space is how we hit all three in one go though. This is a very powerful tool that our fathers use on the inside. What creating space is time out just for yourself. Stop the world out. I want to get off. That's right. This is time out just for you to slow down the world and rejuvenate. How do we rejuvenate? Well, you don't want holes in your game. You will be exposed. How many of you done that? You spend 50 weeks tying your rope up in knots and you think a 2-week holiday is going to untie them all. We know that's bullshit. It doesn't happen, does it? You get about a week and a half into your holiday, if you've even had one, and you just start to unwind and then bang, straight back into the shitstorm. You need to do this constantly. We are humans with rhythmical flows and cycles in life, just like the sun setting and rising. You must maintain this. Doesn't mean you need to do it every day. Whilst that's ideal, even 3 days a week will help, man. You got 1,000 minutes a day, yet you're telling me you can't give 1% to yourself? Like you can't give yourself 10 minutes just to take some time out? Go to the settings, check the fucking social media area on how much you've been scrolling on your phone, and maybe cut that down a little bit instead of it being 4 to 8 hours a day. Because when you create space, you will get all three. You'll hit this sweet spot in the middle, a physical, mental, and emotional investment. These are some examples of what that can look like. You can go for a walk or light exercise or stretching or mobility. It could be treatment. It could be a massage. It could be infrared sauna. It could be a float tank. It could be cryotherapy. Anything. It could be seeing the physio if you have an injury. Something that just stops and just gives back to you. Nature is amazing. Could be artwork, painting, drawing, coloring in. With yourself is ideal, but also you can do this stuff with your children. My kids are young enough to do that with them. You know what? Yeah, it's great. So I'm not creating space on my own, but I'm slowing down everything. Lego for some of you, books, audio books, being with animals, other sources of nature, things around nature and animals, music, fishing. Some of these things, especially with nature, is it takes away the significance of your problems because you see how significant life is. It's massive. You go for a walk along the ocean, you look out there, you're like, have a look at the life force of this. It's insane. It's fucking massive. Go out in the forest and hear all the birds and everything going on and chirping, like, wow, the world is huge. Life is huge. And ironically enough, this helps you negate a lot of your own problems and think, well, maybe the problems I'm going through aren't that significant. And it just gives you clarity and focus on either one thing. That's why Lego can be quite powerful, funnily enough, and artwork, or nothing. Be completely submissive and open and transparent to nothing. Don't worry, the thoughts will come in and they will go. The emotions will come and they will go. Just sit there. Sit in that space and acknowledge them so you can connect with yourself again. That's what this is about. I'm telling you, mate, you will rejuvenate and recharge in a massive way. Creating space is fundamental to life. And this is exactly how you're going to see this to be true, because your action plan is to go and create some space, whatever that looks like for you. I don't have time. Bullshit. None of us have time, yet here we are. You don't make the time. And when you have free time, it's not me time. You're letting everyone else steal that. Be transparent, put up healthy boundaries. We're going to cover this in routines and rituals. Put up healthy boundaries and say, this is me time, not free time. Because if you think it's free time, naturally you have a phone call, this happens, that bang, where did that 3 hours go? No, this is me time. Give yourself half an hour and go for a walk. Get out in nature, immerse yourself in something that's wholesome and true and real. Not just environments where it's full of, like, this is the problem with phones, full of a shitload of environments that don't necessarily have your best interests at heart. So be careful of that. That's why we created the journal. This is useless for everything else other than exactly what it was designed for. That's a very powerful thing to have in the modern world, with so many moving parts, so much stress, so much chaos, so much sedation, distraction, so many interruptions, so many temptations. Create some space for yourself. You do this, I promise you, mate, within 24 hours, within 2 hours, things will change. Your temperament, your nature, you'll put out the fires better, more easily. You won't let your ego get involved. When it comes to your wife, your children, everyone wins.